Lighting is not only an important element in your aquarium's aesthetics, it also plays a crucial role in your plant and coral's photosynthesis. Hi, I'm Rochelle from Quebec CICHLIDS, your local fish store in Terrebonne, Quebec, right outside of Montreal. Today, we are going to be doing a beginner's guide to aquarium lighting. Now that your aquarium is set up, you probably have a million questions about aquarium lighting. If you're watching this video and your goal is to go in some hardcore aquascaping or in some coral reef farm, well, that's a subject for another video. In this one, we're really going to be looking at the basics. So I broke this video down into 5 questions that people usually ask about aquarium lighting. So let's get started. The average is 8 hours a day. That being said, there are many factors that can modify this golden rule. For the planted tank, different species of plants have different lighting requirements. Make sure you research these before buying your plants. In the saltwater aquarium, corals all have different needs. Some need really intense lighting for many hours a day, and others need a lot less lighting and can actually bleach if they have too much. As with the freshwater plants, research your coral's lighting requirements before purchasing them. For fish, whether they be saltwater or freshwater, they all need a full night's sleep. If you leave your lights on past, let's say 11 p.m.-ish, they start to be sleep deprived. They'll be sluggish in the morning, they'll just be different. You can tell. Contrary to popular belief, fish do sleep. It's not the same sleep as us mammals, but it's sleep anyways. In the morning, if they didn't get enough sleep, it's not a coffee that'll wake them up. Lighting tubes are disposable. With use, they lose their efficiency. The tank will become darker and darker, but you won't notice it because the change will be subtle over time. Just like watching your spouse's hair grow. You don't notice it until they cut it, and then you better notice it. This lower intensity of light is ideal for algae growth. In my series about algae, you'll notice that the lighting bulb that is used up is the usual culprit when you have a lot of algae in your tank. That and poor water conditions, but we're not talking about that right now. Since the light spectrum is different than it was at the beginning, once the intensity of your bulb starts to diminish, it has a drastic effect on plant growth and on coral growth in a reef tank. For an aquarium without special needs, change the tube every 9 months to a year. Change it before if you see too much algae growth and maybe light less hours during the day. For the planted tank and saltwater tank, change your tube every 6 months depending on your usage and your coral and plant needs. Certain plants and corals need a lot less light. Let's say you only have anubias in your tank. Well then yeah, you can go to 9 months to a year if you don't have any significant algae growth. Blue light is the only color of the spectrum that can make it to the deep waters of the ocean. This being said, actinic light is crucial to your coral growth. Like its counterparts on the warmer side of the spectrum, this bulb still has to change every 6 months to a year, even though you don't notice a change. I'm going to talk about 3 types of ramps that you will encounter while shopping: LEDs, fluorescent, and metal halides. LEDs, which is short for light-emitting diodes, is what's new on the market, and it is not leaving anytime soon. When you buy them, they're more expensive than the standard fluorescent light. But the diodes don't have to be changed ever, making this a lot more cost-efficient in the long run. The standard diode lasts for about 50,000 hours. That's way more than 6 months to a year. If you have commitment issues and you're afraid to committing to just one light for 10 years, don't fret. Most ramps come with modular diodes, meaning that you can change the color. When you buy the LED ramp, most of them will come with just white and blue lights. You can change these depending on the model that you choose. Some LEDs, like the one I use in my saltwater system, are programmable. Even in my tank, I have 2 separate basins, one where I usually have corals and one where I usually have fish, and one has a higher intensity than the other. I can also make disco and alternating rainbow lights because that's super good for your fish's health. Not all models are appropriate for all tanks. Some are better for planted tanks, others for reef tanks, and some are better for just fish-only tanks. If you switch them up, sometimes you can have some bad results. If you have specific requirements, ask your local fish store what models they have, and they'll be happy to guide you through them. Standard fluorescent ramps in T8 and T5 size are the old-fashioned ramps, especially the T8. T8, T5, T10, that usually means the size of the bulb that goes in it. T5 is a smaller bulb, T8 is a medium one, and T10, I don't have any T10s to show. Those are really old. T8 bulbs are perfect for fish-only aquariums. If you have a planted tank or a coral tank, you're going to need something a little more powerful. Note that certain plants are very fine under T8 ramps, such as anubias or Java ferns. For T5 bulbs, you will find them in high output and very high output models. Many corals will thrive in an aquarium with higher output bulbs. If you do this, make sure that you are punctual with changing your bulb every 6 months. When the intensity diminishes, it can be bad for your coral's health and you will have a lot of algae growth. Even in some cases, the algae grows on the coral, asphyxiating it. This being said, T5 bulbs are great for a reef or planted tank. They're actually very high quality bulbs. Metal halides are the most expensive and hardest to come by. They're usually sold in combo with T5 fluorescent lights in the same ramp. Before the high-quality LEDs came on the market, this was the ideal way of promoting growth for your plants and corals. Many aquarists still swear by these ramps, which have proven themselves over time. This bulb has to be changed every 18 to 24 months. So before buying a metal halide ramp, make sure that you have access to the bulbs as well. In light, white is the combination of 7 colors. The quantity of each color that is in the light determines the color of the white light that will come out. These different color combinations are known in the aquarium hobby as color temperature, and they are expressed in kelvins. Why kelvins? Isn't that heat? Actually it is. It's like Celsius or Fahrenheit degrees, there is also the Kelvin degrees. Here is how to visualize the scale for Kelvin colors. Let's say that you have a black object in the room right in front of you. Now let's heat this object up. Assuming that it keeps its shape and it doesn't melt, it will change color depending on the temperature that you heat it to. The first color that it will heat to is red. As it warms, the color will change. It passes through all tints of yellow and orange. The hottest that you will heat it at is 20,000 Kelvin. The hotter it is, it will glow a whitish blue. Blue being, ironically, the coldest color on the spectrum when we're just dealing with colors. But when we're talking about Kelvin, it's the hottest color. This is a crisp white light that emulates the tropical midday sun. These are popular in the reef aquarium because they can sustain corals that need high-intensity light. If you're using these in a reef tank, you're going to need to combine them with some actinic lights as well. In the planted tank, they don't promote plant growth. Color-enhancing lights are available in many color temperatures and are the most commonly used in the hobby, mainly because they are the most aesthetically pleasing. These bulbs emit light that emulate the day sky the best. These lights are great for less fragile plants, such as the anubias and Java fern. The plants will remain healthy, but they will not show significant growth. In the saltwater aquarium, these lights are perfect for the easy, soft corals. But they are inefficient for most LPS corals, which need a higher efficiency light. These bulbs are on the lower end of the color spectrum, meaning that the white light they emit is more on the reddish side. In the planted aquarium, these bulbs will stimulate growth, but they're also the first ones to burn out and to stimulate algae growth. Just change your bulbs when their lifespan is up and you shouldn't have any trouble. These are not adequate for the reef aquarium. So now I think you have enough information to choose the appropriate lighting ramp for your aquarium. As with any other project, don't forget to do your research before jumping right in. If you have any plants or corals that have specific needs, make sure you include the lighting ramp in your budget before jumping to buy them. So that's it for today. I hope you liked this video. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and I have a great website where you can shop for my lighting ramps online. I also have my whole fish list, plant list, coral list, you name it. All that's on my website. Go check it out. I ship throughout Canada. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.